Hey, well, good Friday morning. I hope that you've had a great week. I'm coming to you this week from Murray, Kentucky. And in Murray, Kentucky, people are itching to get in the field. It's about 80 degrees and it's just beautiful down here. I'm joined by some new friends. Billy Carter, everybody's met him before with AgXplore. But then I have the Pascall family. I have Mitchell and Cody Pascall. So guys, tell us a little bit about your farm, because the crops that you grow on your farm, we just don't see everywhere.
Well, traditionally we was tobacco oriented. It started shifting after 2000. Well, probably more like after 2010. In 2000, we started having mini seedless watermelons as a supplement to the tobacco. But then in the mid 2010s, the tobacco started slipping on us and not doing as good, and the melons was doing better. So we transitioned to all melons now as a cash crop, you would call it, I suppose. And then beyond that, we do, of course, obviously corn, soybeans, do a lot of rapeseed, canola. It's good for the soil. It's a good rotation for us out of a different kind of plant type that helps the soil. That's early on what we're doing now, since it's came down to me and my son. The farm was originally bought in the early 1900s by my granddaddy. Obviously went from him to my daddy to me, and now will be left to Cody.
So you guys are fourth generation on the farm then.
Yes.
So where we were to this morning, we had a field day we're going to talk about. Was that part of the original homestead then, or is that some stuff you guys have added
exactly
on?
where we was the first 40 acres granddaddy bought.
Oh, that is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the rotation in the program you guys use. So I know you guys work a lot with Billy. Billy and I have gotten to know each other over this last year. So you listed a lot of crops that aren't normally in rotations that we get to deal with. So you guys do corn and soybeans. You listed canola, you listed rapeseed, you listed seedless watermelon, and you used to have tobacco in there.
Right. And last year they called me about spaghetti squash, and I was like, I don't even know what a spaghetti squash is.
We're doing winter squash is a better term.
And winter squash. Okay, so tell me, what does a normal rotation, if we can use normal rotation, what does it look like? Is that like a 5-year rotation then to come back to corn?
We do not want to come back with any type of produce in it, and it was the same with tobacco.
Okay.
But every 4th year.
Okay.
It'd be better if it's 5, but we're limited on ground, so we was getting back in at 4, and Wood got back in at 3, and it wasn't detrimental, but we also kind of noticed that maybe our yields was leveling.
I got you.
At that, and so we rented some ground that was fresh ground. Since we're about the only ones ever raising watermelon production wise in Callaway County, we could go to anybody else's ground.
Yep.
And it'll be fresh for cucurbits, for watermelons. So we rented some ground that was fresh, and we've seen an immediate 10 to 15% increase in production.
And Cody, I'm sitting here thinking about how you and I met for the first time this morning. You even grew pumpkins last year.
Yep.
Right? Cody walks up, he's like, yeah, we also do 5 acres of pumpkins.
We've always did that. I raised a 50-acre field of green beans back in the 90s. Just anything new that comes about gets my attention. It's like, hey, that might work.
Definitely.
We don't know. So that's just kind of who we are.
So Cody, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a minute. I know your dad's standing next to you. What's it like working multiple generations? So I also farm with my sons, so you could ask them the same question. What's it like?
Well, you got a lot to hold the line. You don't want to be the one that fails.
That's right. I agree with you on that one. Right? We want to keep moving that
Yeah.
on. So we had a field day today, and Billy, I want you to talk a little bit about how did this field day come about? Who all was involved, and why were we here, to be honest with you?
Yeah, so we had a field day here today at Mitch and Cody's on annual ryegrass, using that as part of their program to alter their Fragipan soils here in Callaway County. And that's something that Mitch and Cody started in about 2016 using, and we was noticing we was getting more usable soil, more water filtration. We noticed as they was going back into their corn bean rotation, that yields were going up. We noticed the same thing, less water, less disease pressure and stuff of that nature, even when it came to the watermelon rotation. And so that's what it came about. So how it came about is Mitch and Cody both have a passion for agriculture, but they have a passion for helping their neighbors.
Yep.
And people can say sometimes, that individuals do stuff to get personal recognition. This was not the case. Mitch came to me and said, hey, let's get something to help these guys, because if I can do it in this county, other guys can do it in this county. So we got with Dr. Lloyd Murdoch from the University of Kentucky, who's researched a lot of annual ryegrass over the years, brought it to his attention. Some other individuals brought it to theirs. Next thing you know, Mitch has got us a committee. We're meeting just like the local fire board, and the field day was born today.
Okay,
And that's how
so
it went down.
I've got to stop us for a second. You said a couple words that maybe we're not all familiar with. So first of all, let's talk annual ryegrass, because I would say 75% of our listeners, when you said that, said you just planted a weed we can't control with glyphosate. Cody, talk to me a little bit. What is annual ryegrass, and are we concerned about controlling it with Roundup?
It's just annual for one. It has 1 year lifespan. We use it as a cover crop.
Okay.
Don't harvest it, spray and kill it to plant the next spring crop in. And what was your second?
And do you struggle to control it with Roundup? Because when people hear ryegrass, that's the first thing I think.
No.
We're going to have a weed issue.
It's actually a very good weed barrier. It
Okay.
chokes the sunlight out. We don't have weeds germinating in the spring.
Winter annuals.
Winter annuals.
Nice.
As far as controlling it and killing it with Roundup, it's all timing.
Okay. So early then, we want to get on it before.
You need to get on it as early as you can.
Okay.
So you got clean seed bed, and you need nighttime temperatures of 50 degrees.
Key things, right? It's about that timing. All right, Mitchell. Next thing. So Billy brought up annual ryegrass. Then he said something about Fragipan. All right. So Fragipan, I've heard of hardpan, right? Tell me, what is Fragipan? And honestly, you've been on this ground for 4 generations now. How much of an issue is Fragipan?
Well, what the Fragipan is, it's a lot like this concrete we're standing on. It's not like concrete in that respect, but it's so hard and impregnable by water.
Okay.
And it'll be anywhere from 18 to 24 inches plus in the ground. So when we get all our massive rains that we get in this little valley here in the Jackson Purchase in the wintertime, that water table goes stacking up on top of that Fragipan, and will wind up within 8 to 12 inches of the topsoil.
Okay.
And in places, it'll even ooze out.
Really?
Side
Like
of
a perched water table almost. Okay.
Yeah. So that soil from a foot down to the Fragipan is dead,
Okay.
because for centuries, thousands of years, I don't know what number to put there, because I ain't lived that long. It's set in that water and it's dead.
Okay.
No roots are penetrating it either, even though it's the same soil as this on top.
Yep.
So that's been our limiting factor. We're not farming but about a foot of the ground.
Wow.
There's 2 foot there that we can farm if we can get rid of that water.
Yep.
But then if you can break up the Fragipan, there's 3 or 4 foot
Down below there.
below there that we can use.
So Billy, I want to punt this to you. I've gotten to know you over the last 14, 15 months. You like to develop yield. I'm going to put it smallly, that Billy likes to develop yield. So what does this mean yield wise? We're going to leave high yield out for right now. We'll come back to it. Production acre. It's obviously not free, right? So give me an idea, how much is it going to cost, the time frame, and why is it important for a regular farmer like myself?
Well, for a regular farmer like yourself, you got to first realize, do I live in that Fragipan, hardpan area, or do I not? You know, if you're in them wonderful Iowa soils, or even in some of our Kentucky Pembroke soils where we're deep drained, no, save your money. Go another route. Still have a cover crop. But I think that with this one down here, you got to say, do I have it? Then you have it. Then as you start breaking that, 2 things happen. I can get out there and I can plant earlier. And we all know the longer season to catch the sunlight, that brings the ROI back to keep the banker happy. Because if you farm like I do, that banker's got to be happy.
That's right.
Number 2, when we get hot and dry in Kentucky in July when it's pollination and ear-set time, now I have enough water filtration that I've gained that. Now I can make bigger ears, more kernel weight, more yield. You know, one thing about Mitch, since he's been doing this, as we've looked at the FSA county averages here in Callaway County, Kentucky, we're 49 and change bushel above county average.
Wow.
Well, you take 49 at $4 corn. So we're not excited about commodity prices, right? Mitchell is excited about commodity. You know why? Because he's got 40 more bushels to market.
Definitely.
So you go from a $55 an acre return, and you add another 50 at $4. I can do the math pretty easy right there. That's 200. So that's why that he gets excited about, and why he wanted to bring it to the growers, is for that reason right there.
Okay, so first thought in my mind, you get something that big, it's got to be complicated, it's got to be expensive, and it has to be hard. Tell me, rough idea, what's it cost you per acre, just seed wise, and is it complicated, and what's your time frame?
Seed wise, we're talking $12 to $15 an acre.
Okay, so you're talking 12 to 15 bucks for annual ryegrass.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Okay.
For seed.
For seed.
For
Yep.
seed. The biggest issue beyond that with most farmers is this is a grass seed. Grass seed doesn't spread well.
Yep.
It doesn't drill well.
Doesn't do very good.
Yep.
So we use a Great Plains no-till
Okay.
wheat drill, 7.5 inch rows, and have made the understanding how much to put by just adjusting the gate and do an acre or two and
You got
figuring it
your.
out.
I don't even know if it's a control spill at that rate, is it?
You know, we have tried one other thing this year that worked great, probably better than anything we've ever done. I don't know how many areas have availability of an air spreader. It's
Yeah.
a boom
Fertilizer truck.
fertilizer truck.
Yep.
We mixed 12 pound of annual ryegrass seed with the fertilizer we was gonna spread in the fall. Put it through the air truck. Perfect.
So you're already making the pass for your dry
Yeah,
fertilizer.
yeah, you're already making
You're
it.
just putting
You're
12
just
to 20 bucks a seed in there.
Yep.
Right, right. And
Awesome.
then we put it right on top of the ground and didn't disc it, didn't mash it, didn't do anything, let it rain that night. Perfect. So that solves some of that issue.
Definitely.
And then the burn down in the spring, we're talking about using Roundup. We want to kill it so quick around here, the weather's not warm enough
Yeah.
for the Roundup to work well. There is other strategies there, maybe at that point in the spring. Some guys are burning it with perquat.
Yep.
And
Take the
stop-
top off and
Take the top off, stop it, and then catch it with Roundup later when it's warmer. And I really
Gotcha.
like this strategy. I'd never heard it till this all came about.
yeah, definitely. So I mean, I just take a step back. It's not incredibly expensive. I mean, 12 to 20 bucks an acre on your guys' farm, it adds up. Don't get me wrong, but when you're talking over 8 years, a 50 bushel yield bump, I mean, that definitely pays. And I can't ever have a conversation with Billy without talking about some NCGA awards. I'm standing in with greatness right here with you three. Billy, tell me a little bit about what you guys accomplished.
So we started several years back trying to play with the idea of entering some NCGA and some state soybean here on the farm. We knew we had our hard pan Fragipan. We knew we were breaking it. And we started noticing yields exponentially going up probably in 2020. And at that point I said, hey, it's time for us to chase. He is first place Kentucky State irrigated winner this year with 319 and some change bushel.
Wow.
In a county where we normally average you've seen the average
Yep.
is 179 or something of that nature. In behind a 100 bushel bean crop.
No kidding.
You know, with a 50 bushel county average. And it's not been because he's spent $1 million an acre to achieve this goal. I think you and Cody both will say that once we broke this, we got water availability. We're making money.
Every year.
Well, and no longer is their farm, do we have an NCGA spot? We farm because he pulls out of fields that are large acreages with a 300, 301 average. You start doing that in the state of Kentucky, you
You're
got to
doing
start
it.
scratching your head thinking, how is this working?
I don't care where you are. That's in something.
Now that was irrigated.
That was irrigated. Yeah,
Sure.
that was irrigated. Yeah, but I'm still saying, even in irrigated ground, because normally
Yep.
we're tickled if we walk out here with a 240. You know, so when it all came together, it was just another piece of the puzzle.
Yep.
And I think everyone, if you're a grower, you look to a company like AgXplore. You want that golden bullet product
Yeah.
that I'm going to put down. That's going to bring me that magical 10 bushel to the acre, and then that other one that's going to bring me 10, and now we should have 900 bushel to the acre.
That's right. I hear you.
But it's a program approach from soil amendments to the
All
right
over.
fertility at the right time to maturing that crop. They unlock stuff. They're masters at making it happen, and it's a privilege to work with them.
I love it. You talked the program, right? We always harp on programs, but today we saw the whole program. Starts with cover crop, started 10, 15 years ago to get where we are now, right? And it was every single step along the way. Guys, I appreciate you having me on your farm. Always great to meet you guys. Billy, always wonderful to work with you.